Good morning, beloveds. It is Sunday, and I am not awake. Uh, in the era of Corona, one of my coworkers was supposed to get married in March, and her wedding was delayed, and so last night she had her wedding. They gave her this date, and then they said, or we could do it in August, and she's like, I'm gonna be in the same boat. So, and we were really good. We wore our masks to the chapel. We wore our masks from they let us take them off once we were in the chapel. And then we took them then we put them back on to go over to the reception. And I stayed at the reception until enough alcohol had been drunk and the social distancing had started to degrade, and then I'm like, I'm done, I'm out. But it was really nice to go and celebrate something so beautiful, especially knowing that the wedding had been delayed for 4 months, and it was something beautiful to see, and to realize that as humans we're really bad at keeping our distance. So yeah, it was. Her father did the wedding. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So that's I'm not. That's one of the reasons why I'm just not awake this morning. I didn't stay out that late, but it was beautiful. It was nice to do something like that, considering everything that's been going on. So, all right. Today is July 19th. It is Sunday. And our title is, I Am Governed by the Law of God. For I delight in the law of God. And this is from Romans 7:22. See. This scriptural passage tells us first. All right. This scriptural passage tells us, first of all, that we shall have delight in living. All creation is a manifestation of the delight of God. God seeing itself in form, God experiencing itself in its own actions, and God knowing itself in us as us. For the highest God and the innermost God is one God, not two. But the passage also suggests that in addition to expressing delight, the enjoyment of being alive and awake and aware, we should also recognize that we are subject to an exact law that must govern everything. The law of the Lord that is perfect. We are, then, to combine our idea of delight with the concept of law, for love and law are the two greatest realities of life. Love is the outpouring of the Spirit. Law is the divine government. Let us, then, find delight in the law of the Lord, which is perfect, as we say daily to ourselves, I am one with the infinite spirit of love, one with the outpouring of the divine life. I am governed by the perfect law in the inward man, made in the image and likeness of that which is pure, whole, and perfect. My whole life finds its impulse in love, and all my actions are governed by the law of good. As I meditate upon this perfect law of God, I realize that it is operating in my affairs, in my body, in my mind, and in my spirit. I know that the law of good is absolute. It is complete. It is operating in and through me now, bringing about everything that is happy. And since this law must be perfect as well as exact, since it must know how to bring everything about that is necessary to my good, I place my whole trust in it. And so I say today and every day, the perfect law of good is governing everything I think or do and all my relationships with others. I delight in this law, and I delight in the divinity within myself and all people. All right. So we are still in the month of freedom. So I find it interesting that in the month of freedom he is talking about the law. But he's talking about God living as us. So he refers immediately directly back to the Roman passage, for I delight in the law of God, because Jesus said, I did not come to break the laws, but to fulfill the laws. And he never did. Jesus was a good Jew. Most likely Jesus was a rabbi. He was there to teach the law, but he was also there to teach the law through the lens of love. And I think that's one of the things that we tend to forget. It's like, nope, Jesus was a Jew. He didn't come in to start a new religion. He came in to teach us how to use the religion that we already had. Much like Ernest Holmes did. Ernest didn't start out to start a new religion. He started out to teach us how to use what we already have. All right. So, for I delight in the law of God, which is from Romans 7:22, as I said earlier. This scriptural passage tells us, first of all, that we should delight in living. Living should be a joy. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time. There are going to be things that are, sometimes we just have to buckle down and do the work. Rita's trying to help. All creation is a manifestation of the delight of God. Okay, all creation is a manifestation of the delight of God. You say that to yourself every day. All creation is a manifestation of the delight of God. God seeing itself in form, God experiencing itself in its own actions, and God knowing itself in us as us. Jesse quotes that one a lot. God in us as us. God having an experience of itself through us. So the good news is that what we are doing, the only way for God to do it is to do it through us. God needs us to have the experience that we are having. But he did start out by saying we should delight in living. God wants us to be happy. As Jesse said in class yesterday, Spirit wants us to be happy because things just work better that way. We were reading Troward, and he was talking about literally evolution, how moving forward, things move forward when we're happy. Things go forward. And so, in the long run, Spirit wants us to be happy. For the highest God and the innermost God is one God, not two. So God is not out there, God is in here, as well as out there. So it's all one. It's one in a multitude. There's a cat in the way, I'm sorry. But the passage also suggests that in addition to experiencing delight, the enjoyment of being alive and awake and aware, we should also recognize that we are subject to an exact law that must govern everything. The law of the Lord that is perfect. Okay. When we work within the law, it's easy because we are in the flow. When we fight against the law, then it's hard. So it's best to learn what the law is and then work within it. We are then to combine our idea of delight with the concept of law, for love and law are the two great realities of life. Love as the outpouring of spirit, and law as the divine government. Which may be kind of hard to hear right now, because our government's kind of, it is what it is. There are governments all over the world that are, their responses have varied. And so, a conversation on the law would be a definite different topic today. I'm not sure I can go there this morning. But the law is not about punishing. It is about consequences, because we're never punished for our mistakes. We are punished by our mistakes. That's what sin is. Sin is a misuse of that law. And that's one of the reasons why Jesus came, to fulfill the laws with love. Because when we use that law in love, then we're not going to make a mistake, and we're not going to be punished by our mistake. All right. So let us then find delight in the law of the Lord, which is perfect, as we say daily to ourselves. Okay, so if I can get around the cat here. It's Rita today, by the way. I am one with the infinite spirit of love, one with the outpouring of the divine life. I am governed by the perfect law in the inward man, made in the image and likeness of that which is pure, whole, and perfect. My whole life finds its impulsion in love, and all my actions are governed by the law of good. Okay, so right there, that's our key statement. My whole life finds its impulsion in love. If you are making any decision from a base of love, then your chances of making a good decision are really, really good. With the knowing of love. Love that is patient, love that is kind, love that is not selfish. In the wedding, he quoted Corinthians. So that's it. That's the way to go, is in love. But what love means, that's a whole different conversation. All right. As I meditate upon this perfect law of God, I realize that it is operating in my affairs, in my body, in my mind, and in my spirit. So that law operates through everything. That law governs the way your body functions. That law governs the way your mind works. That law governs the way your spirit is. I'm not going to say works, is. It is the perfect law of God. It's the perfect law of spirit. It is governing in love. But it is the law. Which means that stay in the flow. Follow the law. When you know the law and follow the law, life works better. Okay. I know that the law of good is absolute, it is complete, it is operating in and through me now, bringing about everything that is happy. And since this law must be perfect as well as exact, and since it must know how to bring everything about that is necessary to my good, I place my whole trust in it. Okay. And that's what it is. If you are aiming towards happy, but you are aiming towards happy for everyone, you're most likely to make a good decision. What I want for myself, I want for everyone around me. If I want a world that works for me, I want a world that works for everybody. If I want love for myself, I want love for everybody. That's part of the way the law works. The law is never selfish. It's also never judgmental. So what you ask it for, it will give you. So think about that. And so I say today and every day, the perfect law of good is governing everything I think, or do in all my relationships with everyone. I delight in this law, and I delight in the divinity within myself and all people. All right. So your mission today, should you choose to accept it, is to delight in the law. To recognize that when you operate within the law in the form of love, then you are going to get exactly what you desire. All right. I am going to go and move on into this day and go so that I can get ready for the live stream. I have one more blueberry muffin with my name on it. Yay. And I will be much more awake at 11 a.m. So it will be a good service. We've kind of gotten this down into a well-oiled machine. And hopefully soon we will be in a place where we can all come back into the room together safely. So do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Join us at 11 a.m. because that would be all three. And please open your windows. Get that fresh air. Get that fresh perspective. Even if you don't actually open the windows, because I know it's, well into the high 80s already here in South Texas. But get some movement in. Get your groove on. And do what you need to do to make today the best day that you can. All right, beloveds. We will be back with you at 11 a.m. right here. So just watch your free notification on Facebook. Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today, and I will be back with you at 9 a.m. I think I have committed to finishing out the year doing this, and hopefully this virus will not finish out the year. But we got to do what we can to tamp that down. All right, beloveds, have a fantastic day.